If we are ever changing, ever evolving, our cells change on a day-to-day basis, our body changes over the years, our consciousness changes over the years, then why do we fight and have this internal struggle against change so much? Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Cambria. I am a Reiki healing practitioner and I am fascinated and obsessed with the healing arts and mystical arts. I am a witch and I'm a mother and I'm just a human trying to navigate this earthly dense experience. So let's talk about it. Embracing change and evolution throughout our human history on Earth is essential to survive. So now why in modern times do we fight the urge of change so much? Resisting change and the feeling to shift something within our own spiritual practice and consciousness just prohibits spiritual growth so much. And it's in these little shifts that we get the urge to fulfill that really catapult our spiritual growth tenfold. I know when I start to feel like I am shifting something within my own spiritual practice, within my own physical practice, I feel like when we talk about spirituality, we get so caught up in the more like mystical aspect when spirituality is embodying our human physical form. So a lot of these shifts can be physical as well. So by leaning into that, letting down that resistance, you will catapult your spiritual growth all the way forward. Okay, so what does it mean to feel like you are shifting? I use the term shift because I just feel like it takes your spirituality just a little bit shifted further. And it also releases that human urge to put a label on like whether it's a positive thing or a negative thing. I think we need to lean away from that and just be more in the neutral space. So anyways, so shifts could come to you in a more physical sense. If you are very tapped into your body and suddenly your body starts to feel differently, you may get the urge to eat different foods, up your water intake, meditate more, move your body in a different way than what you've already been doing. And shifts can become present in non-physical forms. So we will call these more like psychic shifts, which is like a super fun term too. I'm like, it sounds nice. These urges can be directed towards your subconscious. So when I'm like starting to feel like I'm shifting into a new timeline or a new phase or a new practice, like I will get these very sudden flashes of me envisioning what like a higher version of myself looks like. And this higher version of myself is already acting out these shifts that I'm currently going through. And this higher version of myself that I subconsciously desire, I'm just gonna give you a spoiler alert. That higher version of yourself already exists. She or he is up there already living out all of your desires and your dreams and your hopes. And it's just about tapping into that frequency to embody what that higher version of yourself wants you to become. Our guides and higher versions of ourselves aren't going to show us a vision of what that higher version looks like that we aren't already capable of. They are not going to show us what that highest timeline looks like if it's not a possibility for us in our current reality. So when you get those sudden urges and flashes or visions or daydreams of what that higher version of yourself is doing, what they look like, what they feel like, do you feel joy? Do you feel excitement? Do you feel gratitude? Do you feel peace? Do you feel like you're not running around just to pay rent and have a high credit score on Earth? Okay. Your guides are showing you that that version is ready and it's capable and it's available to you, and that it might be time for you to shift into that frequency to embody that higher version of yourself. Another psychic shift that I feel like is very common for me when I'm shifting into a different practice or consciousness is I get the sudden urge to work with certain entities that I normally don't. And I will just preface this with saying I'm a believer of all entities. Unicorns, fairies, leprechauns. I have a leprechaun guide. I have a unicorn guide. I have fairies around me all the time. They steal my keys all the time. So let me just preface that with, we are a believer of all entities and things. That being said, whatever this resonates with for you, if by entities, I mean just certain guides, like spiritual guides that want to work with you, or critters in the Fae, then take whatever resonates with you and leave whatever doesn't. When you feel like you are suddenly inspired to work with a certain guide or entity that normally you don't, or that you had really no understanding of before. So this happens a lot in my practice where I will get the sudden urge to start researching a certain time period, a certain god or goddess or entity or guide that I'm not normally used to working with. If you're suddenly super interested in even a certain time period, that space and those lessons from that space might be able to help you with your spiritual assistance. Those entities and spiritual guides that are reaching out to you are extending you an energy branch to have you hold on and bring them into your spiritual practice. And I also want to say, they are only trying to help you and assist you with your spiritual growth. I don't want people to get freaked out that entity might be not the best word. It gives a little paranormal, so sorry about that. But these guides and forces, is that a better word? We'll just say guides, okay? These guides are only trying to assist you in your spiritual growth. And they're reaching out to you for a reason. If you suddenly get the urge to start researching ancient Egypt and you feel really called to certain Egyptian gods, that's for a reason. And to lean into that, we strengthen our spiritual growth and our consciousness by leaning into our intuition and following it and trusting ourselves. And lastly, I feel like this is the biggest indicator that I know I am shifting into a different state, and that is my energy just starts to feel different. My aura, my essence, your core of who you are, when you lay down and you feel your energy field when you breathe in and out at the end of the day, that's your energy. When you start to shift into these higher levels of consciousness or these different timelines and these higher versions of yourself, your energy will start to feel different. So once we really embrace and embody that change, our energy will settle and it'll feel more calm, but it definitely might feel a little rocky at first, and that's totally okay. I don't want you to think that you're going into a deep dark spiral, because you're not. You will come out on the other side. It's going to be okay. Okay, so I wanted to talk about how to potentially make these shifts easier and how to incorporate them into our spiritual practice and our consciousness. But first and foremost, I want to say to just give yourself grace. Change can be scary, and leaning into the unknown is the number one fear of humans. And that is purely because we are instinctual beings and we are inherently made to sense fear to protect ourselves. So it's okay, and to give yourself grace and knowing that it's okay to be scared at first, and just that you're going to be okay, and it's going to be okay. So remember to slow down, practice lots of self-love and self-care, and this will help that change kind of settle in your body a little bit easier. And when I say self-care, the number one thing that Spirit says is to just be still. And I know that is so difficult in our day and age, and with our busy work schedules and being a parent and having to go to soccer practice and school. And if you're working full time, like, I understand that stillness may seem overwhelming and difficult. But if you can practice just a little bit of stillness every single day, does that mean sitting down for 30 minutes and meditating? No, that's not realistic for everybody. But the stillness in when you're getting into your car, and that little tiny moment before you shut your door and feeling the sun on your face, being still in that moment and literally just embracing and embodying whatever change that you might be going through will help your spiritual growth. Next would be to fully resist doubt. And doubt is one of those things that it is a very heavy, dense emotion and feeling. But doubt in the spiritual growth aspect is literally like swimming upstream. Release all of that doubt that you might be feeling. Embody and embrace and call in just moments of peace, and feeling peaceful and being grateful for those moments will only amplify it even more. Doubt is resistance energetically. So it puts up a little stop sign energetically to anything that you might be trying to embody and embrace. So once you release all of that doubt, call in that peace, and it'll activate your spiritual growth process a lot faster. And finally, my last one is just to have fun. I feel like we get so caught up in wanting to evolve and like what's the next best thing, and what's the next best self-development book, and like what's another spiritual book I can get my hands on, and what about this practice and what about that. And at the end of the day, we're here on earth to just have fun and to be free, sovereign beings and to enjoy our path. And if we're not having fun on our path, then like, what are we doing? So my last piece of advice is to just have fun. If you are being called to work with fairies, like, what is more fun than frolicking in a field, calling in all of your fairy guides? Like, excuse me, that's exactly like, that's my definition of fun. Or working with different guides, meditating with them, talking with them, and learning something new about yourself even. I feel like that is so blissful and joyful and fun, and it's only going to amplify more fun, beautiful experiences for yourself. Change might feel scary at first, and leaning into the unknown might be very overwhelmingly scary for a lot of people. But once you grasp that the universal law of everything is happening for you and it's not happening against you, you can release those fears and lean into having a beautiful, joyful, blissful, fun, uplifting, amazing experience. And you are embracing and enjoying that higher timeline and that higher version of yourself. I hope this helps and resonates with some of you, if not all of you. I would love that. Thank you so much for listening. I am super excited to get into more of these topics and hopefully create a beautiful, awesome community with everyone. So stay tuned, stay beautiful, stay witchy, and I love you so much.